This is Jill Pack with the Seasons of Joy podcast. This is episode number 127, entitled Snap into Presence, Breaking Free from Spiritual Autopilot. Are you a woman of faith who is struggling to navigate your current season of life? Do you feel like life is just happening to you instead of for you? My name is Jill Pack, and I'm a certified faith-based life coach and a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. I want you to know that no matter your season or your circumstance, it is possible to create a more joyful life, and I would love to show you how. Are you ready? Let's go. Hello, my friends. Welcome to this week's episode. I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for joining me. And I just love being here with you, even though I can't see you. I love exploring the unique challenges and opportunities that come with this mid-season of life that we're in. Now, remember, if you find this podcast helpful and you're feeling a bit stuck or overwhelmed, I'd love to chat with you. I offer what I like to call a clarity conversation. This is a one-on-one conversation where we dive into whatever's on your mind and we work together to help you gain some clarity and fresh perspectives. If you're ready to dive deeper into what I talk about on the podcast, I'm here to help. Just click on the link found in the show notes or visit my website, www.seasons-coaching.com, and click on the Work With Me tab. Now on to this week's episode. Have you ever caught yourself reacting to life on autopilot? I know I have, many times. Maybe you've snapped at your kids or avoided a difficult conversation or spent hours worrying about something that might never even happen. Today, we're going to talk about a powerful tool that can help you break free from these automatic reactions and live more intentionally. So the goal of self-awareness isn't just about knowing yourself better. It's actually about recognizing how we react, especially when those reactions don't serve us well. When we develop this awareness, we can align our actions with who we truly want to be and interact with others in wiser, more loving ways. Ian Morgan Cron and Suzanne Stabile are the authors of the book, The Road Back to You, an Enneagram Journey to Self-Discovery. In this book, they teach a 4-part process that they created called SNAP, S-N-A-P. Whether or not you know your Enneagram number or type, this is a powerful practice. This process is something that I have begun teaching my clients as a way to wake up and notice if they are falling back into unhelpful patterns of thinking, feeling, and behaving. It can help you become more consciously aware also of God's presence in your life. So let's break down each of the 4 components. S, stop. Otherwise, the power pause. This is something I've been working on for the last couple of years myself, personally. And there are a couple of ways you can do this. From the book, Stabile and Cron suggest setting an alarm on your phone every 4 hours to remind yourself that it's time to stop for 2 to 3 minutes to give your full attention to God and what's happening in your life at that precise moment. One way that I have been doing that is practicing a belief that I want to kind of internalize, which is part of my prayer in the beginning, right? I'm trying to internalize a thought pattern that helps me feel and behave more like the person I want to be as I pay attention next to what's going on around me. So, for example, I might spend the very first part of this stop or this pause asking God to help me internalize the belief that I'm a daughter, a divine daughter of heavenly parents who love me perfectly and that I feel their love. Thanking God for help, love, patience, care, hope, and the grace that I have in my life. Committing to trying to keep my mind and heart focused on them so that I can feel God's perfect love. Also praising and asking for help to see myself and others with spiritual eyes, praying that as I'm able to feel God's love for me, that I might be able to feel God's love for others. And as I treat myself with awe and respect, I'm better able to treat others with that awe and respect. So taking a moment to just check in with God, set your intentions in a way, ask for help, pray for help, and it really only takes a matter 30, 60 seconds, right? Now, I found that this isn't easy. We have so many distractions and things pulling at our attention. Our frenzied, goal-oriented world pushes against pausing, even for a few minutes, to switch off of autopilot and consciously coming home to ourselves and God. Stopping feels counterintuitive. That's exactly why it's so powerful. So to stop, we pause and we take 4 to 5 deep prayerful breaths to ground ourselves in our bodies and return to the present moment. And if time and circumstances allow, you might even want to close your eyes and scan your body from the crown of your head down to the tip of the toes. Soften any tension you encounter along the way by breathing into it. The purpose of this step is to simply wake up and bring your awareness back to your immediate experience. So we begin with a prayer, a short prayer, right? It doesn't take more than mere seconds. And then we start scanning and softening. So each of the steps that I'm going to share with you in the SNAP process is going to be harder for some of us, right? Each piece might be challenging, and pay attention to which piece might feel challenging to you. So, for example, sometimes it's easy for me to fall prey to the distractions and even sometimes fall asleep in a way to avoid reality. But this kind of stopping is just another form of autopilot or avoidance for me. It may take some time for you to figure out how you move or how you can move to greater awareness of what's really going on for you in the moment. It just takes practice. So here are 4 tips for this phase or this stage in the process. First, set a reminder, and the authors of the book I just mentioned suggest setting a timer for every 4 hours. For me, I have one that goes off on the hour where I just stop and I check in. And then I take 30 seconds to kind of connect with God, and I practice deep, intentional breathing just to ground myself in my body. And then the next step or stage is N, notice, becoming the compassionate observer. Most of us often get swept up in the hustle and bustle of our daily activities and the habitual reactive behaviors we tend to go to, but rarely do we step back and observe and learn from them. Once we have come to a full stop, let's look around and see what we've been missing while we were lost in our looping thoughts or absorbed in our work. So what's going on? Is the environment around us calm or is it chaotic? How do we relate to what's going on? How are we related to what's going on? How are other people responding to us? Are we personally in a good space, or are we caught up in our default reactive behaviors? Good questions to ask ourselves in that moment. So, for example, maybe you might realize you're feeling frustrated inside and you are ready to whip away control from a coworker who you think is messing up on an important project. Imagine noticing yourself about to take over a coworker's project out of frustration. That awareness alone can prevent unnecessary conflict. Or you may notice that you've spent the last 2 hours rehearsing in your mind what you will say to your boss in the very unlikely event that she's going to fire you during your upcoming annual review. Worrying that you're going to be replaced by technology probably isn't the best use of your time. Whatever you discover, you want to make sure that you notice or observe what you're feeling, thinking, and doing in the moment, that you do so with kindness. Please do not label, analyze, criticize, or try fixing anything. Just simply notice, nothing else. The third stage, or part of the process, is ask. And this includes 4 powerful questions. Now that you're spiritually awake and you're present to what's happening in the very moment you're in, you can ask yourself a few powerful questions that will help you get back on track if you need it. And here they are, and they come from Byron Katie's work, and they're adapted and expanded for this practice of SNAP. The first question is, what am I believing right now? The second question is, how does it make me feel? The third question is it true? And the fourth question is, who would I be if I let go of that belief? Let's say you're self-aware and you are late for an appointment. You notice that you are a hot mess inside. You decide that while you're driving, you are going to do some SNAP work. When you get to the ask step and pose the question, what am I believing right now? You might reflect and answer, right now, I believe that I'm a terrible, irresponsible person and I cannot get my act together no matter how hard I try. Now, when we really step back, it's a little extreme, right? So the next question is, how does that feel when you answer that way? And the answer to that question is, it brings up all the old feelings of self-loathing and shame that I feel every time I make mistakes. That is so painful. So the next question you might ask yourself, or I invite you to ask, is it true? Am I a terrible, irresponsible person who can't get my act together no matter how hard I try? Before you answer that question, however, with a yes, I totally suck, pause and think about it. Is it really true? You might feel like it is, but it doesn't make it true. The truth is, we are all human, and this one moment in time doesn't define you. Now it's time to ask the fourth powerful question. How would my life change if I let go of this belief? My hope is that you would say something like, I'd be a happier, more relaxed, and easygoing person. I might even love myself almost as much as I do other people. Doesn't that feel better? Let's take time to ask ourselves and really settle in to the answers to those questions. And the fourth stage or step in the process is P, pivot, conscious choice. In the process of stopping, noticing, and asking, you've become a compassionate observer and deepened your self-awareness and self-knowledge. Arming yourself with this, you have freed yourself up to make different, healthier, more spiritually helpful choices that are in line with your true divine self, rather than automatically defaulting to the reflexive choices that you've made in the past when you were half asleep on cruise control. In the pivot stage, we can consciously choose to throw aside the usual scripts that we have followed. Using the same example that I've been talking about, you may gently inform your inner critic that rather than be all irritable and upset when you arrive at your appointment, you're choosing to forgive yourself for running behind schedule and being kind to yourself and the other people you interact with. I have found that being intentional pushes me into the uncomfortable. During conflict, when in autopilot mode, I tend to avoid expressing my feelings. I may merge with other people's opinions or disconnect from myself and others, or I don't assert myself or express my opinions, or I might even get caught up in the distractions to avoid the discomfort, right? But practicing SNAP allows me to express maybe my feelings directly, right? Sharing how I really feel instead of being passive aggressive. I may tell others what I really want, and I can wake up and engage with what is happening, and I can acknowledge that I have value and that I can assert myself by speaking to what is on my heart and mind, and I can stick to the task at hand right? So allowing myself to step into maybe something that doesn't feel natural to me from this process actually empowers me. SNAP helps us wake up. It interrupts that circuit that we've built up in our brain and that track that we've been on with hurtful, self-limiting thoughts, feelings, and actions that we go to in that autopilot mode. It allows us to make different choices on purpose. Now, will your life change overnight? No, but over time, using this process will help you become more and more self-aware. So here are a few tips for practicing SNAP. Number 1, as you practice this SNAP process, you may want to send a reminder on your phone to help you create this habit. It just takes repetition. Number 2, SNAP can be done anywhere, anytime. That's the beauty of it. It can be done in less than 1 minute if you want to. You can also spend longer if you want to. And number 3, it's best to practice SNAP while not doing really anything that requires other thinking. It's something you could do, however, with like washing dishes or driving or raking leaves, like those tasks that maybe don't require a lot of thinking will allow you to still be active, but focus your mind on this process. Number 4, as you grow and develop your attention muscles, look for spiritual practices that can help you be more aware and able at any given moment to see what's going on and make healthier choices. Centering through prayer is a perfect spiritual practice that can teach you to observe yourself without judgment or criticism. And number 5, practicing SNAP in a moment of conflict or crisis can radically change the course of what happens next. Slowing down and reminding yourself that is just a moment in time. And as I have continually practiced this in stressful situations, it really has made all the difference. So to review, stop, tap into the power of the pause. Take a few deep breaths, center yourself, and bring awareness back to the present moment through prayer. Notice. Become a compassionate observer. Simply notice your thoughts, feelings, and actions without judgment. Once you're in the present moment, ask yourself the 4 power questions to get you back on track and to shift your energy and focus. And finally, pivot. Consciously choose to set aside the automatic narrative inside your brain. It is time to snap awake and interrupt the circuit on the hurtful, self-limiting thoughts, feelings, and actions that you automatically go to, and choose on purpose what you want to create for your life and for yourself. Choose intentionally how you want to think, feel, and behave in order to co-create with God a life you love. It really is possible to do this no matter your season or your circumstance. This is all that I have for you today. Thank you so much for being here. And remember, it is time to snap out of autopilot. Remember, SNAP isn't about perfection. It's about progression. Each time you catch yourself on autopilot and choose to snap into awareness, you're building a stronger connection with yourself, with others, and with God. This week, I want to challenge you to set a daily reminder to snap, right? Put a notification on your phone and try to weave this into your days and notice what changes come when you bring conscious awareness to those moments. I invite you to please share your experience with me. I'd love to hear how this practice impacts your life. You can send me an email at jill@seasons-coaching.com or DM me on Instagram or Facebook. Thanks again for being here and have a joyful week. Thank you for tuning in to the Seasons of Joy podcast. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. And if you liked what you heard, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share with your friends and family. If you want to learn more about me or how to work with me, just visit my website, www.seasons-coaching.com, and have a joyful week.